Hello, my people. So the other day, I noticed this post on a friend's page, and I was like, this is the exact cry. This is the quiet cry of many parents that are concerned about when their kids would get to college, how they would handle the bills. Like I always say, all these things require planning. And if you have little kids, children that are still less than 6, you have enough time to begin planning for them so that when the time comes, you will have, you won't panic. So today, I'm going to show you a simple plan using the IUL, which is the Index Universal Life Policy, to build a college planning strategy for your kids. So come along with me on the screen. So this person is in the state of Texas, named Sam King. The parents just gave back to this child December, Christmas Day of 2025. It's a male, and so for this contract, we are going to be getting a fixed amount of 500,000, and the parents have decided that they would be contributing $500 monthly towards this kid's college, right? And agreeably, they would only be contributing to age 21. Now, we've chosen to put the 100% of into the on-cap index market, right? Which means that you don't lose money when market drops, but you also don't have a ceiling. There's no cap to the growth. There's no limit to the growth you access in this account. So we're going to use that fully 100% under the on-capped index account, and then let's run that illustration. We can see that yearly they are contributing 6,000 year in year out, right? We see that, and that's the age and the years that this policy has accumulated. Now the premium outlay cumulative gives us the sum of their contributions year in year out, which is 6,000 for the first year, and by the fifth year they have contributed a total of 30,000. Now of course, we see the policy value. Now the policy value here is what you have in your policy, less the cost of insurance, less the policy expense, which would be fees and the cost of insurance. Remember, we actually bought 500,000 face amount, all right? If my client comes to me by the fifth year, right here, their policy value is at 29, but they could access up to 90% of this 23,301, which is not a bad deal. So if you go a little further, you see that this child gets into college maybe at age 19, and by that time you have up to over $183,000 accessible to you to do whatever you want to do for this kid's college. Now if you look further down, you've stopped contributing to this policy at age 21. So let's say this child now wants to get married, okay? Right about maybe at age 35 or age 30, or just want to buy their first home. They have access to up to 90% of this 500 at age 35, you see? And that's awesome. At retirement, when the child is at 65, you have up to over 3.2 million accessible to the child to retire. I mean, they might even want to retire earlier than this age 65. And guess what? If this child dies, they already designate their own children as beneficiary, which means you're leaving a legacy for your children's children with what you have accessible to them in death benefits. So what you've done for this child is that you've locked in their health, their good health, by starting them early with this. Of course, this is just a little clip to show you how this works. So now we are going to work with a child that is already 3-year-old, the same child, the same condition, using also the 100% balance on cap strategy. So let's run this. Parents are also going to contribute. So this child is age 21, meaning they only have 18 years. So the number of years of the contract is only 18, but the child is now, would be 21-year-old when they stop contributing. Now they have contributed lesser. Say this child goes to college at age 19, right here. Okay, so they have up to 90% access. A unique characteristic of using this strategy is that you are not tied to spending this money for college expenses alone. You can use it to get for your own personal emergencies. You take out the money to go start up a business for yourself, invest into something that you think would be profitable for you. So I just want people to know about this strategy. Now let's look a little further and see what is accessible to this child at age 35. Not bad, right? So if this child want to buy a new house, want to put a down payment for a home, they have enough money here to withdraw to do that. And let's go down to the retirement. Let's say they retire at age 65 right here. See that? They have over 2.4 million readily available for them for retirement. But you have set up this child for a very good life by you simply starting up with a $500 monthly and contributing for a total of 18 years, contributing a total amount of 108. So let's say Sam was born 2020, all right? So he's now 5 year old, and you just want to start contributing for this child the same conditions, employing the same conditions as the other ones, the balance on cap strategy. Let's run the illustration. That means you are contributing for a shorter period of time. That's for only 16 years now, right? For 16 years till the child is age 21. Now you've contributed a total of 96,000 as opposed to 108 or 126 of the 0-month-old Sam. Buy a home at age 35. See that? Now you now have access to over $316,000 in cash value. You can get any percentage of this up to 90% for in withdrawal, tax-free withdrawal. Okay, so now let's say this child leaves it there to age 65, right? When this child is at 65 years old, see, they have close to $2 million to retire on. I just want people to know that there is this method out there that can help you, that can help you to plan for your kids' college. So I've been able to show you how this strategy works, not just on the high level. I know you have questions. That is why I'm inviting you for a webinar, a Zoom webinar on Saturday, February 21st. There, I would elaborate more on how the contract is structured, what is even an IUL policy, and then you can ask questions. We can, talk about one-on-one what your particular need would be. So please feel free to join me on Saturday, February 21st by 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The flyer will be there on the screen. The flyer is on the screen, and I look forward to catching up and hosting you at that gathering. Thank you and God bless.